So yes, I am wearing a dressing gown because it is Saturday morning and I don't have to be anywhere for hours and hours of reading time. So as you know, I was about 60 or 70% done last night, and I read all morning this morning for about an hour and a half, so I managed to finish Steel Hand Cold Heart. This book was so good. Rachel Millard is an amazing, is it Rachel Millard? Yes, is an amazing author, and she just wrote this so well. There is so much good things happening here. I don't know how much to tell you. If you like strong women who physically strong women who maybe have some things to learn about the world, then definitely pick this one up. I'm so excited. I'm so glad I read it. I definitely recommend pre-ordering it or buying it. It comes out in May, I believe. And it was amazing. It was so good. So I'm not sure what I'm going to pick up next because I like to randomly pick from my TBR. And also, as you know, I got a haul yesterday. So who knows if I'll be picking something up from the haul instead of my TBR. I do. I know I am. Saturday night we did a lot of stuff around the house and we went shopping and things like that, so I didn't get as much reading done as I would have liked, but you all know that I picked up City of Brass. I think everyone in the world could have guessed that one. I'm 16% of the way through, which means they have just they've just kind of gone on their journey. I don't know how much to say without spoiling it, but I'm really excited to learn more about their world and see more of that prince dude, because he got like one short chapter and it was a bit random, and then we're back to the main character, so don't know what's going on there. But yeah, I'm really excited to read some more, and I'm just really tired at this point in time because I waited too long to make this film and it's now 11:30. See you tomorrow. Good morning, guys. It is Sunday morning. It is 9:30 a.m. I have done a tiny bit of reading this morning. I am now 26% of the way through City of Brass, which I am loving. So the two have just got some horses and then had a bit of a bicker, and I'm hoping they resolve that soon because I heart them so much. I love all of the but you're a human, but you're a djinn. Really interested to see where Ali's storyline is going as well, although I do think that the naming is a little confusing when everyone's names begins with A. But we'll see how it goes. I am really excited and really enjoying the storyline, and I have pretty much the whole day except for a bit where I want to make chocolate cookies or bread or something with our new hand blender mixer, whatever it's called. But I'm real excited about today, and I've got a whole lot of work to do as well, and some writing and some other various bits and bobs. But I love reading, and I'm really excited to get to learn more about this. Also, in case you ever wondered why all of my Instagram pictures are of selfies, this is why. Look at that smashed, beautiful phone with no back camera. I broke the back camera 2 weeks after getting this phone, when it was in my pocket and it just disintegrated. Don't know why. Fairly sure it saved me from hitting my leg really hard, but I don't know why, and I can't fix it. I used to fix it with sellotape, over the top, but some of the glass shards scratched the lens, so it's completely useless now. And yeah, if you follow me on Instagram and you've ever wondered why all of my pictures are a bit odd or then that's why. The back camera's fucked. I mean broken. Oops. But my significant other is going to let me borrow their camera to take some photos with, so hopefully my Instagram will improve. We'll see. But yes, so that is my Sunday. I've got some chores to do and I'm going to do so much reading. So as you guys will know, if you have seen my The Tethered Mage review, I am an absolute sucker for big epic romances with a political thriller, political intrigue kind of subplots, and I have picked up City of Brass. So I picked it up yesterday and I let you know how far I was in it this morning. It hadn't fully gripped its claws into me and flown off with me like a giant bird. It has now. They have just done the bit with the water and the sacrifice. If you have read it, you know what I'm talking about. And I have no idea what's going on. I'm so confused. I want to know everything and I don't know anything, and I just need to keep reading. Oh my god, I'm so excited to see how this one ends. I haven't been this for at least a day. I'm so overly excitable. Oh, I've gone all blurry. That's how excited I am. Hello? See, if I do this, the camera remembers that I have face. Apparently not today though. There we go. Ha! So I am obviously going to keep reading. There was never any question. I have tomorrow off. So today is Sunday. Tomorrow is Monday. I took the day off to spend some time with my partner and also read. I am also planning on picking up, as I said in last week's library haul. So I was planning on picking up Truthwitch straight after I finished City of Brass, but then I saw that Caught Between Pages is planning on doing a read-along for it in May for their birthday, so I am possibly not picking that one up. I'm possibly going to pick up Throne of Glass instead, but we'll see. I mean, I need to read both of these, obviously. I'm really excited. Also, I told my gran that I'd pick this up from the library and that it had an assassin main character, and her only response was, "Oh, we're into assassins again, are we?" I was a weird child. But yes, so I'm really excited to pick either of these up, to be honest, and I really want to read Illuminae and The Seven Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle in between hand, but obviously I need to finish City of Brass first, and Fighter of Aldia after that, so I've got kind of like my reading plan for the week. Let's see if I manage to finish City of Brass by tomorrow, by the end of tomorrow. I am currently 39% through, apparently, so really excited. Oh my god. So the shit has very much just hit the fan with City of Brass, and oh my god, I can't stop reading. I'm trying to get other things done, like YouTube stuff, and I'm just like, no, I can't. What the fuck? What is going on? What is going on? Oh my god. I really hope that it all kind of like sorts itself out, but I'm like 85% through the book, 87%, and I'm just like, I just want everyone to be happy and live, and like no one's happy and no one's alive. That's how I feel right now. Anyway, it is Monday morning. I have the day off work, so I will be probably finishing this one. I didn't expect to, but it kind of grabbed hold of my heart and sucked me into this world, and now I have no choice but to finish this book and possibly even buy and read the second one as soon as I possibly can. Oh my god. Okay, clearly I'm not ready for YouTube. I have really messy hair and I'm wearing a dressing gown, but you guys are probably used to that by now. Oh my god. I literally am so blown away, and I can't wait to read more. I can't wait. Like, I literally can't wait. I'm leaving you by. It is still Monday morning. I clearly have not brushed my hair or gotten dressed. I finished it. I have so many emotions. Oh my god, the epilogue. The epilogue. I feel like the author broke my heart so many times that, like, I don't even know. I could pick up the next book right now. It's only 10 quid on Kindle, and then just read it and say goodbye to my Monday off work, because I will just be consuming this, the next one. But I'm afraid they're going to break my heart again, and I literally cannot deal. Dara, I have so many emotions. And also the twist. I have so many emotions. And I really want to read the next book, but I'm going to wait at least until next month, or at least until I finish my TBR, because my heart, I'm genuinely not sure I would survive if they did this to me again. Wah. Wah. Alright, I'm going to take a break from reading because I've literally done nothing else since I woke up, and then I'll probably, I'll probably pick up Fighter of Aldia. But I feel like, in deference to the author of that one, I need to give it a break before I start reading that, because if I read anything else in my tortured and emotional state, who knows what will happen to me. Alright, so I have been thinking about it all day, and I have some thoughts about City of Brass that I'm going to share, and they are absolutely a spoiler. So while I am sharing said spoilery thoughts, I'm going to show the City of Brass. I nearly said City of Grass. City of Brass thing up here. So while this is up, there will be spoilers in 3, in 2, in 1. Okay, so it makes zero sense that his ring was glowing. That was never explained. It makes zero sense that he obeys some of her wishes but not others, unless it's not her that's controlling him. It makes zero sense that the leg didn't eat the dude face. I guess that's why none of them go in. Okay, that was explained. I take that back. It makes zero sense that Ali knew about the ambush and about all of the boats, because they literally went from arguing in a tavern with Dara to Dara trying to kidnap her to the boat. Like, there was no time for him to warn anyone. There was no time for the fleet to assemble, unless they like had the argument to provoke Dara into kidnapping her. So that makes no sense. Like, can we all just agree that makes zero sense? Fourth, I really love the twist. Okay, the twist at the end, like the epilogue, just made the book for me like so much more and so much better. So I was kind of getting a bit bored of the characters. Not the characters, that's a lie. I wasn't getting bored, but it was kind of like a standard 4-star until the epilogue, and that just dragged in a bunch of main characters that were just kind of side characters before, so that definitely made it a 5-star. 5. Dara. Okay, those are my thoughts. So obviously I finished City of Brass this morning, and then the rest of the day I was going to say I haven't read anything, but that would not be truthful. I have actually been desperately trying to finish chapters 1 and 2 of Save the Cat Writes a Novel. I am this far in, which means I'm about halfway through chapter 2, which ends here. It is the longest chapter, so it's the longest chapter of so far in 2 books. So it's really long, so it starts there and it finishes there. And I have to read it before I can watch the live show. So I am trying to truck through. I'm probably not going to finish it today anymore, because look at that. Oh. But I'm trying to truck through, learning a lot about how this author believes plot and stories should be structured, and thinking about how, obviously, so those who don't know, I am planning on doing the Outline Along using Save the Cat Writes a Novel's techniques. And so I need to have read it and like be outlining along for a new novel that I will probably be serial releasing. So yeah, I will say it has so many spoilers for so many books that I like eventually will read but haven't read yet. And I appreciate that it tells you in the beginning, but like I need to read the book, so I just need to embrace that there are spoilers somewhere. Luckily most of them I've read, but in this chapter especially there were just a ton, I guess because it's such a big chapter. But like I'm probably not going to read Cinder. I've read really mixed reviews of it, but Cinder, The Da Vinci Code, The Fault of Our Stars, The Hate You Give. I really want to read The Hate You Give as well. The Grapes of Wrath, The Hunger Games, It Had to Be You, The Martian, best book ever. Probably not the best book ever, but just like beautiful, beautiful science fiction. Room, Something Borrowed, The White Queen, like Memory Man, like so many books that I am planning to read have been spoiled in chapter 2, and I get why she did it, but she could have chosen some older books, my friend. Anyway, when was this even published? Also, I keep smelling the pages and my boyfriend's calling me a drug addict because I keep going like when we're not even reading. When were you published, my friend? What? Why don't you have any publishing information? What kind of nonsense is this? Here we go, it's on the back. 2018, yeah, so it's a fairly new book, and it spoils a bunch of really new books, which seems unfair to me, but never mind. My own fault for being in a reading slump for like the entire of this century. No, decade. So I'm continuing on with Save the Cat tomorrow. That my plans, obviously I'll be back at work, so I want to finish chapter 2 at least this week. I was hoping to finish it today, but I just, like, it's the kind of content where you need to like reread or take your time and digest, and I obviously can't do that in a day. And I also really want us to get started with Fighter of Aldea, so I'm probably not going to finish this one tomorrow. Not the book, obviously, but the chapter. I can't stop sniffing this book. But yes, The Fighter of Aldea is another indie, another arc that I received, and I will be reading that this week. So that one will probably be my bus read, and then I'll try and do 10 minutes of Save the Cat before I leave the house in the mornings. That's the plan anyway, which reminds me, must set an alarm. I will see you guys tomorrow when I will be beautiful and fresh. Also, note the braid. Look, I made an effort for you guys. Note the dress, note the gecko. This is in honour of City of Brass. Also, note the clothes hanger that I forgot to cut out of my clothes. Alright, that is it. That is me. I've done being presentable for the day. Also, you can see that I've clearly just given up on hiding the plugs. So I have more thoughts on City of Brass, but I'm not going to share them because I'm a good person who doesn't want this vlog to just be spoilers for City of Brass. But I have thoughts that, like, I mean, the book was amazing and you should definitely read it, and like the writer is really good, like really tight plot, really tight ending. I just think there's some things that don't make sense yet. So I am planning on reading the second book in the trilogy, which is Kingdom of Copper. I remembered without having to look it up. I'm so proud of myself. And I will get around to it, but I have to, like, I don't know why, but I torture myself. So when there's an author I love or a book series I love, I won't read them like side by side. I have to like savor the mystery, I guess. Like, I also don't want to have to wait for the third book. So I did the same with The Tethered Mage. I did the same with all of Robin Hood's stuff, except for like, so I would buy 3 books in a row, because obviously they come in trilogies, but they're all set in the same universe and with the same character, like a lot of the same characters. And then after I read the Live Ships trilogy, which by the way sucked the life out of me for 2 days straight, like I literally just read that book and then trilogy, and then I reread that trilogy. Like, that's how much it stole my soul. I've even got a video on this channel of like Robin Hobb stealing my life from like 5 years ago or something. Then I refused to buy another one of her books. Like, I literally haven't read another one of her books because I love them too much, and I'm like, I don't deserve pleasure? I don't know. Anyway, that being said, I will read more Robin Hobb and I will read Kingdom of Copper, just not right this second. I have to deserve them first. So I have continued reading Save the Cat Writes a Novel. I've read about 20 more minutes, maybe 30, so I've still not finished chapter 2. Chapter 2 is the longest chapter, I think, in the entire book, and I think that's silly. But the end is nigh. The end is here. Here is the end. So I think another 1 or 2 days of reading and I'll finish it. I actually didn't get much done, like, today at all. Like, I'm usually super productive, especially on the bus. Like, as I said before, I write on the bus to work and then I read and do programming stuff on the way home, and I just didn't do any of that. Like, today I have been wiped. I've even barely read, so I'm on page like 40 of the new book I picked up, which was The Fighter of Aldea by Kira Weston, which was sent to me by the author as an ARC, an advanced review copy. So far I'm not like gelling with the voice. The sentences are quite like, so the setting, for those of you who don't know, Fighter of Aldea is set in a world about 200 years into the future, and something happened that made all of the electricity in the world stop working, and then people started being born with magical powers. And we are just kind of like, everyone chooses a profession when they're young, they train. Some professions require more training than others, of course, but we've been introduced to a few professions by now, and the 2 main characters are a farmer and a fighter. But yeah, everyone has to have like a career chosen when they're quite young, because there's nothing better to do, I guess. But the voice is really modern. Like, the main character on page like 3 says, "I gotta do what I gotta do," or something like that, like the word gotta. And the voice is quite choppy. Let me read you an example. Not on this though. On this beaten up beauty that I call my phone. I'm going to find something that isn't going to be a massive spoiler. I slept like a rock last night, but I'm still tired from training so hard the last couple of days. My muscles ache, but I'm not going to let it slow me down. I can't let it slow me down if I plan to do my best. Each of the competitions take place at different times of the day, so this morning I got to watch Lucas compete in his welding competition, and now I'm sitting in the bleachers waiting for Daniel's farming competition to start. The bleachers were taken from an old football stadium. What football was, I'm not quite sure. Also, that sentence has reminded me, or that paragraph has reminded me of my biggest pet peeve with the world building so far, is that they can remember what planes and guns are, but they can't remember what football is. Football existed long before electricity, and I'm fairly sure it would have continued long after electricity. Also, the villagers seem to be able to communicate across 5,000 miles with villagers on the coast, or at least she knows that there are fishermen in the coast, and that's like a profession that you could choose if you had the ability to. I don't know, I feel like the voice of this writer isn't very mature yet, but I'm hoping that it improves over the book, and as you all know, I do not DNF arcs unless they're like, well, Dracula levels of terrible. So I am going to finish it, and I also try and make sure I'm reading indie books. Oh, and today I signed up for NetGalley, and I'm so excited. I requested and received my first book. I didn't request it, that's a lie. It was on the like free, everyone can read this shelf. and but I am excited to get started on it. It sounds really good. It sounds completely up my alley. Like, you guys know what I am like with political thrillers. So after this one and Truth Witch / Throne of Glass, I'll be picking up one of these, and A Large Expanse of Sea, which was recommended to me by one of the booktube channels I will link below, just became available at my library, so I'm like super excited. So, but what did I request? I requested Changing of the Guards, and the synopsis for this sounds so cool. So he goes to put down, there's a guy, he goes to put down some rebels, and then he discovers something that like makes him rethink his priorities in life, and he ends up having to negotiate with the leader of the rebels instead and not be able to report back to his captain. And like, I love that kind of political feel, which is another reason I'm drawn to both Truth Witch and Queen of Shadows. As you all know, I am a hoe for political drama, which is also why I freaking adored City of Brass, even though it had so many questions and like unfulfilled things and promises broken and literally my heart broken. But I adored it anyway. This angle is so unflattering. Look at my double chin. And on that note, happy Tuesday. I will probably record again tomorrow, which will be Wednesday, but today is Tuesday. Never forget, never surrender. Working sucks. Goodbye. Forgive me if I look a little bit like I have been crying. I have. We have just stopped in the middle of a Game of Thrones episode because I burst into tears because Stannis Baratheon did something that I'm not sure I can ever forgive him for. So, yeah. Game of Thrones viewers, you know what I mean. Alright, so on that note, I had a pretty day, so I went to the library, obviously. Now, I'm not normally one of those ASMR people, but isn't this the most satisfying sound ever? Anyway, I was doing that all the way home from the library, and my partner was like, "Washy, you're insane." Yes, so I went to the library to finish off my collecting books for my TBR for Spring into Reading, which I'm going to be recording the TBR for shortly. And then also just to pick up a book that I wanted, so I can do that. I am free will. And yeah, it hasn't been a very good reading today. Today, I was working really hard on the bus, both to and from work, on a personal project, so I was coding the whole time. I didn't even write anything. I haven't written anything for a few days, actually. I need to like get back on that bandwagon. But I have been learning a lot about coding and getting what I want from the site, so I'm kind of impressed with myself, to be honest. I would show you, but it's a startup and it's still in its early phases, so it's pretty ugly. But I am pretty excited. Yeah, so I'm going to hopefully read tomorrow. My partner is out tomorrow afternoon and evening for like a work social thing, so I'm alone at home, so I'm just going to order takeout or like make myself toast or whatever and read all night. Hopefully finish Fighter of Aldia either tomorrow or the day after, because obviously it is Spring into Reading on Monday and I want to be like fresh and prepared for that one, and I don't want to like rush Fighter of Aldia, but I do have a weekend as well, so it should be fine. Alright, that is it from me for today. Oh my god, I'm like emotionally a wreck. I feel the same way now that I did at the end of City of Brass, so yeah. Oh, and I finished, that's a lie, I did actually have a pretty good reading day, because if I include non-fiction, I finished chapter 2 of Save the Cat, which I didn't think I was going to do, which means I can now watch the live stream, which means I can now plot along with the outline along-a-thon. So that is kind of cool. So I take it back, I did have a good reading day, and I also got a lot of coding done, so yeah. Hello my friends, so today my partner is at a work event, which means that I have the house to myself. Which usually means making tea, having a nap, reading a lot, as in literal tea. Look, haha, tea. He got me this mug because I told him to. It says, P.S. I love you. He tried not to buy it. So, like I said, I just got back from work and made myself a cup of tea. I'm being so careful not to spill it on the laptop. So the laptop is a little bit of an angle. I don't know if you can tell. I think it should look like that. But I've got it piled up on books so that it is high enough to film my face and not other parts of me. So today I have finished Fighter of Aldia. I read it on the bus home and last night. So Fighter of Aldia is now officially finished. I have to say I did not enjoy the voice in this at all. It felt very, I don't know why it's being so weird. Hang on, I'm going to turn down the brightness. Ooh, yeah. So I finished Fight Out of Aldea on the bus today. The voice I just cannot get on with. It's very simple and it's very preachy. It's a lot of telling and not showing. So I watched her. She looked so great. I felt so happy. And I just didn't get along with that at all. Like, that just was not an enjoyable reading experience for me. The world also felt quite simple. So I think this would be a good book if you were quite young, like 8 or 10 maybe. It definitely isn't young adult, the voice at least. Also, the story is very slow. I had a lot of issues with the pacing of the story and the world building. Wasn't quite there. Like, they could travel a lot further than people usually can travel by horseback, and also like, they use steam for a lot of things. Like, when they're training, they use steam to power whistles that you then move towards and hit. But the steam isn't generated by fire, or there is no mention of like lighting a fire before using the steam. So either that's done by magicians, in which case they're more useful than they proclaim to be, or yeah, I don't know. I just didn't feel this book, to be honest. I think it's probably a 2.5 or 3 stars. So I don't know if I've given a summary, but essentially it is in the future. I have given a summary, but I'm just going to give a quick one. Now, it is the future. We lost electricity for some reason, and now, like, there is no electricity, so everyone lives quite simple lives. I don't know if they still live in houses that were like before the loss of electricity or not, but some people live in wooden constructed houses, and some people have magical power, so the ability to kind of like manipulate one of the earth elements. The magic isn't really very explained. Neither of the main characters use magic during the book. But if you are a magician, you have an assigned job, which is fighter or welder or, you know, tailor, and then you also have to apply for permission to use your magic, and some of the magicians are not very happy with this system of having to apply to use your magic. And then also you can only do it in the afternoons or evenings after work, which means that you can't rest really, because you have to work all day and then you're magicianing all night. The reason that I say the world building is quite surreal is that the magicians don't seem to have very much like emotions. There is this one guy who doesn't really like humans because they didn't let him practice magic, and he then wants to kill all of them. I'm glad I finished it because I'm on a roll with not DNFing books, but it's not one that I would recommend you pick up, unfortunately. This was sent to me as an ARC by the author. I picked up my phone to show you pictures. Sorry, I didn't just give up on the conversation with you. It's not one that I recommend you pick up. Now, I did give up on the conversation with you because I got distracted. So, on Audible, I have been listening to the Oedipus Plays, which is the 3 Oedipus stories, the Oedipus the King, Oedipus Somewhere Else, and then Oedipus's daughter Antigone, and I think Antigone is the most famous of the 3. I am about halfway through Antigone. I've only got an hour left in the audiobook, thank God. The first one was alright. I DNF'd that the first time I listened to it though, because nothing happens, and I DNF'd it like half a sentence from the end or something, it turned out. The second one was so boring. I only finished it because it was an Audible book. The cast are really good, so there's a full cast of people, but like nothing happens. So Oedipus exists, some people try and steal his daughters, Oedipus exists. But the third one has been pretty interesting so far. So essentially Oedipus is dead now, spoilers, and his daughter Antigone, both his sons killed each other, and the current king, Creon, wants to bury one of them and not the other, and Antigone, Oedipus's daughter, is like, no, I need to bury my brother. And she has a fiancé, she has a fiancé who is the king's son. So it's not going well for any of them. The king's mad that she buried the brother essentially against his permission, and Creon seems a bit like a massive misogynist. He hates women. He says multiple times, I will not be ruled by a woman. If I am to lose power, it will be because of a man, because I am not superior to a woman. And yeah, he's very against women ruling, which makes me think that like Antigone, the Oedipus cycle, may actually be a feminist work that's like, don't be so proud that you won't accept a woman's opinion on something. But we'll see how it ends, because I'm fairly sure I know the ending because someone spoiled it for me, and yeah, it's pretty dark. But it's not as dark as that Game of Thrones episode I watched yesterday, so you know. Also, I think I'm wearing the same jumper today. I just like wearing the same jumper like multiple times in a row because they don't really get dirty, so forgive me for the inevitable sin. But I have moved because I didn't want to sit on the floor. So normally if you see this little white thing here, this is what I put the camera on, and then I sit on the floor to get the right angle. Angle-a-dangle. But I haven't done that today. Tea tastes so good. So yeah, I did a lot of reading today so far. I want to pick up a new book, and I think I'm going to go off script or off the TBR with this one. So I only have 2 books left in the TBR, I think, maybe 3. Snow Gypsy, from memory, Snow Gypsy, Circe, and Røde Orm. Obviously, I'm now saving Røde Orm for the readathon next week, so I don't want to start that one yet. Circe is still Circe, another Greek retelling, and Oedipus is killing me for that. But Circe is still on hold in the library, so I'm waiting for someone to bring that back. And I'm not sure I want to read the Snow Gypsy right now. It's a contemporary, it's kind of a romance. I'm not like fully in the mood for a contemporary, but I might pick it up and read it just today and tomorrow. So I am feeling a little bit fantasy burnt out after the last 2 being fantasies, which were City of Brass and Fighter of Aldea. This one is called Changing of the Guards. Oh, that's a Changing of the Guards. It's on read now in NetGalley. It will be my first ever NetGalley read. So I'm kind of excited to see how that works, and like how I don't know anything about it. Like, how long do you get the book for? Do you get it after? Like, do you get to keep it? I assume you have to return it. But I am excited to try out NetGalley at least. And since they send it to your Kindle, I can actually read it on this one, which some of the arcs I can't, because obviously they are sent to me preferably in EPUB, which means I can open them in Kobo. You can tell it's the end of the day because I'm like, I have no idea what words are. I prefer EPUB if you're sending me the most critical reader ever, your arc. I prefer EPUB just because I read them on Kobo on my phone, but if you send them on Kindle, I'll read them on this giant tablet that I borrowed from work. And that is it. So tonight, while my partner's gone, I'm going to do my editing for the Spring Into Reading-a-thon TBR. Then I am going to have a bath and hopefully my head will feel better. You can tell, by the way, when I have a migraine because all of the blood drains from my face and I look really pale and like my eyes are charcoal. So turns out I am actually like super visual when I have a migraine. People can tell. They can even tell before I know. But it's not hurting that bad right now, so I assume the tea is doing something to help me. It's just like a little drilling here. No visual disturbances, no like light pain, slight light pain, but only because these lights are freaking bright. Otherwise you would be able to see how imperfect my skin is. All of these freckles. But if I had the light on bright, you can't see anything. Alright, I'm gonna go read. You'll notice we're now on the floor because I didn't want to construct my tower of books again. It seemed a bit unstable. So we've gone with sitting on the floor again, which is just what I do. So you'll just have to get used to it, I'm afraid. So I finished the Oedipus cycle. I can say it now. The Oedipus cycle on audiobook while I was like tidying the house and preparing for my bath and stuff. And then after the bath when I was still tidying the house. Oh, it's depressing. It doesn't also make a whole lot of sense, and I feel kind of bad for Cleon, even though he's a misogynistic jerk. But never mind. It's all over now. And then I picked up from my bath book, or while I was in the bath rather, I picked up The Snow Gypsy, which is by Lindsay Jane Ashford. The title should really give it away, but it didn't for me somehow. This is a story about a gypsy. So it's a story about 2 women so far. I'm only 10% through, so I can't spoil it, don't worry. There is Rose, who is an English woman who is part Turkish and part Jewish. Her brother went missing in Spain just before World War II to fight fascism. And yep, the last letter she had from him was that he had met a woman and had her baby. He didn't have her baby, obviously, but they had a baby together. And then the second woman is a woman named Carla, I think. Lola. The second is a woman named Lola, and she is she found a baby after everyone she knew had been murdered, and she escaped into another country from Spain. I think it's Italy, but I'm not sure. She escaped anyway out of the area of Spain that she was in, and Rose happens to have a lot of friends who are gypsies because of her research as a veterinarian, doing herbal remedies for animals, and Lola is performing at a big gypsy convention where Rose will happen to be looking for people who knew what happened to her brother, so I suspect they're gonna like become friends and stuff. Lola still has the little baby that she found in the snow, and she's like managed to keep it alive somehow, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, so it's super interesting. I didn't realise it was going to be about the war, but it has been a lot about the war. Sorry, didn't mean to push away. It's been a lot about the war, like the healing from the war, the ramifications, and like all of the people who were obviously tortured and died. A lot of the gypsies in the camps obviously had relatives that were killed in concentration camps or were themselves prisoners, so it's super sad, but it's also really well written so far. As I said, I'm only 10% through the book. Pardon me. But I am really interested to find out more and to learn a bit more about their stories and about whether Rose and Lola become friends and stuff. So yeah, that's my story. I hope you guys have had a pleasant evening, much like I have had in my bath. I don't actually like baths, or at least, no, that's not true. I never feel clean after a bath. I always have to shower after I've bathed. I know I'm weird, but I just feel like you're just soaking there in your own sweat, and I'm like, ugh. But yes, so I had a bath and then a shower, and now I'm back and I'm going to bed. Well, I'm going to watch a few YouTube videos first, because obviously I make these vlogs because I enjoy other people's vlogs, so I like to watch them, keep abreast. It is Friday night and I'm here to talk about the book that I have been reading, which is The Snow Gypsy. Ta-da! By Lindsay Jane Ashford. So I just want to address some criticism I have seen over the word gypsy online. Now, I have heard this criticism mainly from people of non-Romani descent, and then think one Romani person. But I have seen the term, that the term gypsy is offensive, and therefore that the title of this book is offensive. I think given, I don't know how, I'm not part of that community. I obviously don't have the right to say whether or not a word is offensive. However, given that a lot of the traveller associations and Romani associations in Britain also take the name gypsy, I can't think that it's that offensive. I think that it's often said in an offensive way, and that's, that's unacceptable. But I'm not sure that the author meant it in this way. So a lot of the complaints online that I have seen regarding this novel in particular were around the fact that people often romanticize the gypsy lifestyle and think of it as like being poor and free and promiscuous, and also associating it with thieving and things like that. Honestly, I'm actually 50% through this. Lindsay Jane Ashford, for me, has done a really good job of highlighting the struggles that the Romani culture went through, particularly during Nazi Germany and then in Spain after, both before and after the Nazi regime. Currently, so there will be spoilers, very mild spoilers, but currently there is a woman several women in the Romani community in Spain who have had their children taken away because of their bad blood by the authorities. And obviously the main characters are both horrified by this. Also, one of the main characters is a Romani or a gypsy who lives in a house and is not a traveller. And the other one is a non-Romani Jewish lady who has befriended the Romani and gypsy people of her area. So I definitely don't think there was any offence intended in the use of the word gypsy, and the word is used throughout the novel to sort of like describe the culture. The culture is a little bit romanticised in the sense that it is very much about the dancing and the competitions and the kind of like the culture that has sprung up around various like get-togethers, and the main character, who is the main Jewish character, I guess, was like swept away by this and ended up doing something that she regretted, which the other woman kind of disapproves of, I reckon, but she doesn't know about it yet. So that's it for the mild spoilers. I am really enjoying her writing style, although it did take a while to get used to. It is very flowery, and I had to force myself to slow down and like read it aloud to get into, especially in the beginning. And there's a lot of non-English words, including Spanish and including the Romani dialect that they speak in Spain. I think it's called Cafu. But I am really enjoying this. It has, it's kind of a sad book so far. It's about love. It's about kind of like the horrors of the Spanish Civil War and then the following fascism and mistreatment of the Romani and Gypsy culture. But just like the fear for their children and the fear for their families is really good. If you're interested in Romani culture and Gypsy culture in the UK, there are several books, Own Voices books they're called, which I would definitely recommend you check out, including, what's it called? The Gypsy Boy and the Gypsy Boy Runs Away. Those are about the Irish travelling community and not about the Romani culture, but they're really good. It isn't all what you see on TV, it isn't all frivolous, it's a lot of hard work, and their traditions are really important to the culture. But I think I would be interested to hear Romani's thoughts on the contents of this book, because particularly a Spanish Romani's thoughts on the contents of the book, because I feel like it's kind of like, it is not at all brushing over the fact that, you know, people were murdered in the streets and children were taken from their families and like all of the horrors. Even in England, the English traveller community that you meet at the very beginning of the book, you know, the main character has to be really careful not to offend them because they're so used to having racist slurs and attacks from non-Romani people that they are very hesitant to befriend her, and they're very suspicious of her at first. So one of the things that really I didn't enjoy is that the premise of her seeking out these people is that they heal animals by herbs instead of medicine, and while I understand that there can be some natural healing from herbs, I don't think that a veterinarian should be kind of like refusing to treat animals with proper medication. And also, like, she keeps saying really high and mighty, like, oh, and I healed the dog that they would have put down, and it's like, that's not really what veterinary science is about usually. Admittedly with horses it tends to be, and that is really cruel. But other than that, other than my kind of like dislike of the fact that they might be making animals suffer because of their own beliefs in herbal remedies, I am really enjoying it, and that is all I have to say. I'm going to read some more tonight, and I will speak to you tomorrow morning. No, I won't. It's the end of the week. It is the end of the week. This is my last vlog. So as a wrap up, I read a ridiculous number of books this week. I don't remember. And this is the one I'm reading currently. I'm hoping to finish this before spring into reading starts on Monday. Alright guys, I hope you have an amazing week, and I hope you enjoyed this vlog. Comment down below if you did, and let me know what you liked and what you didn't, and if you like the change in surroundings of our messy couch. And I will catch you next week. Bye!